Welcome back to another episode of Hill Country Hustlers. I'm your host, Zachary Green, and today I have a special guest with me, Bryan Gonzalez. He is the owner of Private Label Coating here in Kerrville, Texas, serving, I think, the broader Hill Country range. And he's going to share his story with us a little bit and talk about his business and what they do and how they do it. Thanks for joining me.
Yes, thank you for having me, Zach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I've always viewed Bryan as kind of an embodiment of a young Hill Country hustler. He does great work. He's a professional person, and I'm excited to get into this one. So,
Yes.
do you mind sharing a little bit with us your backstory? Are you from Kerrville or Hill Country? And
Yes, absolutely. So I was born and raised in the Hill Country. I went to school at Notre Dame for, K through 8, and then went to OLH for 1 year and quickly found out that I wanted to get out of school quick. So I went to Foundations Academy, which is a smaller school, and I was allowed the opportunity to engage more with work life, which is what I really enjoyed. Like you said, hustling, and I really wanted to not do math problems on paper, and just school would drive me mad. So I was able to have a big stack of basically papers of what I needed to do. And it was pretty much cut and dry. Like, you're either going to do all of these uh, assignments and finish these assignments by this date, or you're going to fail. Like, you can go and work and do everything else that you want to do, but these are your assignments. And if you don't finish them,
yeah,
you won't go any further. So it was I like that approach,
yeah,
instead of having it be so elongated and have to go through the whole, I guess you could say, course of summer and all of that. Like, I just worked straight through summer and just busted out everything that I could.
yeah,
And it was great. So after that, I graduated. I was working at Discount Tire throughout my whole high school time. I think the day I turned 16, I got a job at Discount Tire. Matt Krimwelge was a childhood friend,
nice.
and he worked there. And there was a whole really good crew that worked there at that time.
Yeah,
So for me, it was nice to have, little slightly older role models that were actually doing something.
yeah,
And it was really motivating to want to be better and to grow.
yeah.
So, yeah, I went to school, was born here, went to school here, worked here, and a native to the Hill Country.
Love it.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. I like how you kind of touched on it without saying it directly, but there's this trait I hear in pretty much every small business owner or entrepreneur. It's the desire to kind of set your own hours, do things at your own pace. And the way you described, you like doing the self-paced assignments, get your stuff done here in this time. You don't need someone on your shoulder telling you, hey, every week we're going to do this. We're going to do it again next week and the next week.
Right.
You don't have those.
It can be a little bird chirping, you know. I feel like I'm guilty of that too now.
Yes. Well, that's okay because it's not someone else.
Right.
You're running the thing.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah. And that's okay. Some people like it. Some people work well in that system, but then other people don't.
Right.
And I see a lot of business owners are in the boat that don't like that. They like doing things on their own, and they don't need someone to motivate them. They have it inside. And it's not their favorite when someone's telling them what to do.
Right.
Put it lightly. But
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I like that. And it's cool. You kind of got to have a great group at Discount Tire.
Oh,
light some fire in you and
that
inspire you a
was
little bit.
honestly one of the funnest jobs that I think I've ever had, because I was young, right? Still in school, really ambitious. And I'm also around peers that are the same age, that are also ambitious. And, the Discount Tire community, just that company, Bruce Holly's the owner of that company, and he's got a book called 6 Tires, No Plan, Bruce Holly. And he started that company with 6 tires, and our senior manager, you know, they all started as a tech at the very low bottom end of the totem pole.
Yeah.
And to have that type of culture in a company where you're dealing with young kids that are still in high school that are finding their way, I think that's crucial. And that does way more than just keeping vehicles on the road. You know,
Yeah.
it does way more than that.
Yes.
I think Discount Tire is a great company, and the foundation of that is a good company.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt, look at Matt now. He's doing his own deal, you know, right here on Sidney Baker Street. I think that's legit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know? Like to really take a piece out of that and do your own.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the cool thing, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. That speaks kind of to Discount Tire's culture.
Yes.
I really appreciate when companies have that, not only doing good service for the customers, but for their employees as well. And giving them tools and skills and desire and rewarding it. That's huge.
Mm-hmm. I still think we had the best crew in Discount Tire. Now I think those guys are a little too slow. Their break times are just a little too long.
Yeah. That's cool. You still like keep up with people from your days there, and you see them doing good as well elsewhere. Y'all found your paths.
Yes.
That's
everybody's
cool
kind of spread out. People are close, you know. It's just a cool network to have.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to shift gears or just keep going down the path. So after Discount Tire, is that when you got into resurfacing and finishing floors? Or
no, good question. Yes. So after Discount Tire, I worked with Secor Fence Company, and Uncle Lee is what I call Lee Secor. Kevin was a really good friend of mine and still is. And he put me to work, and he put me to 2 summers of running fence, and that was enough for me. But it should have been 1 summer, you know. Lee always told me, he's like, you know, this isn't for you. He's like, you can work with me, but you need to keep looking for other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked with Lee for 2 years, and I ended up getting a government job, and I delivered mail here in town. I was a mailman for about 4 years, and then transferred out into the big city, try to get away from Kerrville and see something different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in San Antonio for about 4 years, still with the government. And I thought, you know, I kind of want to do my own thing. And I had some mentors that also worked with me in San Antonio, and they said the same thing. They're like, man, you need to go. Like, you're young, you don't have any kids, you know, if you're going to take any risks, right now is your chance, which I'm so thankful for. You know, I'm so thankful that I had those people in my life to push me. Yeah. And that was a huge step, you know, 'cause having a government job, that check is always coming, you know. You may not be doing what you want to do. You may not like it, but it's paying the bills and it's getting the things done, you know. And it kind of got to the point where I was like, I want something more. I really do. I was really kind of creating more problems for my life than I probably should. And I ended up taking a risk. And for 1 whole year, I just competed in martial arts. I didn't do anything. It was just train, eat, sleep, train, eat, sleep, train the whole year. Like 365 days of just that. And I went through different weight classes, 135 all the way to, I think 170 was the heaviest I got. And that's like, what do they call those double stack at In-N-Out Burger? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can't think of it.
So yeah, there was an In-N-Out near me, and I would just get this big double meat after every training. And I gained a lot of weight, you know?
Yeah.
But it was a dirty bulk, and I did that for a while. And after that, I said, you know, I'm going to start up my own business. I was on a fishing trip with some guys, and I met this resurfacing guy, and he was picking my brain, like really on me about what I was doing. And I wasn't really doing much, you know. Was trying to figure that out. And he kept saying, like, what do you know? Like, what? And I said, man, all I know is hard labor. like discount tire, fence company, digging holes, you know. My
Mm-hmm.
dad had poured concrete, and I worked with my dad at a very young age too.
Mm-hmm.
I was the edger, right? So
Yeah.
everybody would be finishing, and I would just be behind one guy on an edge, and I would just do that edge the whole way. So I knew concrete. I knew all the components that you need to have, you know, a good concrete slab. And I didn't have the crew, right? I didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
crew to get those jobs done, because you need a crew,
Yeah.
and you need to make sure that everybody knows what their job is. Because once that concrete starts coming out of the chute, you don't really have time to jack around, you know?
Oh yeah.
So I knew I didn't want to do that. I knew I did
Yeah.
not want to do that. And me and this guy were talking, and he said, have you ever thought about doing decorative concrete? And I thought, decorative concrete? What is decorative concrete? You know, it's the first time I've ever heard of that term.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up connecting, and he said, if you're serious, you know, you can catch a flight, meet me in San Diego, and I'll show you everything you need to know. So I had, you know, enough for a flight, and I booked it, kind of taking a risk, you know.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the best things that I could have done. I mean, that guy is on a whole another level of, you know, you think of hustler and you think of, you know, people that are busy, you know, young people, ambitious people. This guy's 55, and he will run circles around any 25-year-old entrepreneur that I know. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he is just constantly busy,
Yeah.
responsible, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really the one that showed me a lot of different ways to do things, you know, because it's like that old saying, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat,
Yeah.
you know. There's so many different ways to achieve a decorative look. And I think decorative concrete is unique because once it gets hard, like it's hard, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not going away.
Yeah.
So you get to decorate it all you want. At a certain point, it's going to get hard, and it is what it is, you know. So I think that's really cool that you can manipulate something, but once it's done and it's there. It's in
Mm-hmm.
stone, you know. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, no, it's really cool getting into that kind of industry and reading into it. I did a little research before you came here, try to make sure I understood it correctly. And it
Mhm.
is a little deeper of a rabbit hole than I thought, because it's not the same thing every time.
Right.
You're not getting the same case every time. And there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, like you said. And that's neat. But I think it's cool. You get to problem solve a little bit, figure out
Yeah.
solutions for different things. And I think, I don't know if I'm right about this, but it seems to be growing as a product or a service.
Definitely.
And it's kind of a great idea. You know, from what I was reading, concrete, once it goes bad, it's kind of a pain to fix. But if you do something like what you do, take care of the concrete, extend its lifespan a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
you're adding a lot of value and it looks better.
Yes, I agree. I think even great concrete, though, sometimes if it's finished right, it looks really cool. I mean, you can really bring some character out of it. But
Mm-hmm.
you're right. It is a very deep rabbit hole. I mean, there's so many different applications, and we're doing a lot of research and development at PLC, at Private Label Coating. It is very vast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being in this industry has really opened up a lot of doors for me. And I think that that's a cool place to be, you know, because growing up, you don't really think about why you were doing what you were doing
Mm-hmm.
until later on. And it kind of comes back full circle. And you're like, wow, like all that experience that I had when I didn't really know what I was doing, it's actually paying me
Oh yeah.
over here.
Yes. That's something I really try to drive into my younger siblings' minds is that you're not loving this right now. You're not going to appreciate your first job right now, but it's going to pay you right now. And it's also going to pay dividends later on.
That's right.
It's giving you experience that you can't buy and nobody else can buy either. And that's
So true.
invaluable.
It is.
So I've really been trying to drive them home because I was kind of like you. I didn't appreciate really, I appreciated work. I loved working with my dad. My dad does pest control. I did that through high school in the summers. And I didn't realize how much I picked up from it. I got really good at customer service. Now that really helps with what I do now.
1000%. And that's a
that kind of
big
translates
piece.
anywhere. Yeah.
Major piece. I mean, if you don't have any customer service,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really have a customer base.
No, yeah. You're not gonna get customers.
Right.
You've got to have good customer
That's a
service.
major skill.
Yes. I didn't realize that I was building that up the whole time, building these kind of just habits of talking to people and making them feel heard and understood and then fixing their problems. And that is something I really, like I said, try to drive home to younger people that I care for because it's so important. And I overlooked it a little bit, but now I can look back and be really thankful I did this or this or this or whatever I did.
Right.
Because I got something from everything.
Absolutely.
There's always a skill to gain.
And I mean, look at you now. You know what I mean? You're able to foster the connection with somebody on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably your customer service skill from pest control.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In, you know?
Like if I hadn't worked a customer service job, I wouldn't have the communication skills or the people skills I have. I may still have some, but they wouldn't be where they're at right now.
That's great.
I would be a lot more behind where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I've come to appreciate that now. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That is really good.
And then, so I wanted you to speak a little bit on this.
Okay.
Mentorship. You mentioned
Yes.
a couple times how important that was to not just your story, but kind of everybody's, and how important it is to find a good mentor and what that's kind of been like for you. I know you touched on it a little bit, but.
Yes. I believe, and I have mentors for different things, right?
Excuse me. Absolutely.
I have mentors for different things. I think it's very important. I think it's very important because experience, like we just talked about, these mentors, they have a wealth of knowledge through experience, right? And nobody's going to tell you to, oh yeah, go touch that hot stove. You know? Yeah. They say, hey, that stove's hot. Don't touch it. Because that's experience. And it's us that go over there and say, I'm going to go touch that, you know?
Yep.
So the mentors are there all the time. We just have to be willing to catch that and see it for what it is. And yes, I believe that mentorship is huge.
Yeah. I think it's kind of one area where you can really mess up on your journey. You can learn things, I always say, kind of the hard way, learn it yourself, doing things the wrong way. And I am guilty of that a lot. Or you can listen to a mentor that you have. And you won't always have a mentor with all the answers, but I could have avoided a lot of problems if I listened to something my parents said, or a boss, or some kind of mentor.
Yes.
And being able to learn by listening is also another skill that I've had to hone in a little bit, because I like doing it my way. I like figuring things out my way. And I found that a lot of the times it's harder to learn it that way than if I just listened.
It's true. And, you know, a good mentor is somebody that doesn't answer on the first call, you know? They call you back because they're busy. And when they call you back, they're probably going to tell you, I got to go. Yeah. So absolutely, you better listen to everything that's about to come out of their mouth. You know, I remember, I'll give you a story if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my first job as an entrepreneur after I started private label coating was a polish job, concrete polishing. Concrete polishing is there's an art to it. And my mentor had told me, the one in San Diego, he said, you know everything that I've taught you, go out, but only start with garages. Like, just do that. Well, my first job was a whole house, you know. It was actually a duplex. And I called him and I said, hey, I got this job coming up. I'm going to need some materials. And he's like, oh, yeah, what kind of job did you get? I said, oh, I got a polishing job. And he's like, oh, really? How much did you charge him? And I said, oh, I charged him like $450 a square foot. And he hung up the phone. And this is the guy that I'm buying my materials from for this job. I'm excited, and he's just hanging up on me. And I'm like, that's weird. Maybe the connection, lost. Yeah. I called him back, and he's like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. Why? He's like, man, I taught you this stuff so you could make money. He's like, you're about to lose everything on this job. He's like, it's your first job. You're going to lose everything. I'm thinking, oh gosh, what did I do? And he just basically said, well, you're going to learn. You're going to learn on this one. So the first one was tough. There's a lot of steps to polishing. Mm-hmm. And my mentor went through those experiences, right? So he's developed his own systems mm-hmm. to fix, some of the problems in concrete polishing. Well, he gave me the old system first. That was the first thing that I used. He said, I'm not giving you this new system because you don't even appreciate it yet. You're going to do the old system and you're going to do it right. And then once you finish this job, then I'll show you this new way. So I learned on that first one, and I don't know where I'm going with this. I think it's about experience, right? Mm-hmm. And that was a big, tough experience, right? Because he told me, stick with garages. Your average square foot of a garage, double car garage, is about 420 square feet. Average. This house was 3,500, one unit. The other unit, 3,500. That's pretty big units, I'm sorry, 1,500 and 1,500. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a jump up.
It's a huge jump. And just a long process. Like, I'm sitting there polishing concrete. So a progressive refinishing from a coarse all the way to a fine grit, and literally shining concrete is very time consuming.
Oh, yeah.
Very time consuming. But the job turned out great. I also learned about business there. There was some change orders that needed to be done. And I didn't do the change order, so I didn't get paid for it, and it's just one of those things that you learn, and mm-hmm. you can't blame anybody but yourself. I think accountability is huge.
Oh,
it's something that no matter what goes wrong, you always have to think about what you could have done better or what you did wrong. And if you don't think about that, you're just going to blame everybody else for everything.
Mm-hmm. It's easy.
Super
easy to find where someone else did something wrong. It's hard to look inward.
True.
Say, yeah, other people might have done something wrong, but you can't change that.
Yeah, and you
can
can't
only
blame
change what
them.
you did wrong.
Exactly.
You can build off of that. You're right. It's super important to be accountable to yourself.
That was a good first lesson, I think.
Oh, yeah.
For me. It was brutal. It was brutal. Yeah. But we made it, we made it past it. And mm-hmm. I had friends that came and helped me, and they learned in the process. And I think one of those guys, he never came back. He's like, I'm not polishing concrete with you ever again. He's like, you can call me for anything else, but don't call me to polish concrete. I was like, okay, deal.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what does kind of a job look like for you? Let's say just kind of a garage job. They call you, say, hey, I need this polished. What does that kind of look like? How does the process work for you?
So I like to dive into the decorative rabbit hole, right? So mm-hmm. somebody calls me and say, oh, I want my garage coated. I try to stop them right there. And I'm like, well, what kind of coating? Like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the epoxy stuff. Okay. So there's a lot of different sizes. There's a lot of different looks. There's a lot of different coverage ratios, where you can get pretty decorative. Like, you can put somebody's family crest into their concrete. Mm-hmm. There's just so many different things. You could do borders around your concrete. You could do some type of terrazzo. Mediterranean type look,
Yeah.
There's so many different things. So when somebody calls me and says they want their garage done, I'm like, okay, what kind of garage are we talking? Because I have some clients that have 420 square foot garage, and I have some clients that have a 5,000 square foot garage.
Yeah.
So, it's usually the guys with the 5,000 square feet. They're like, oh, I want to coat my garage. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how many square feet? 5,000. And I'm like, okay, this is not a garage. This is a hangar.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, but
Mhm.
I think it's cool to have that decorative conversation with somebody that calls,
Oh yeah.
because they may not know
Hmm.
what they can do. So I'll schedule to meet with them, right? They call, they want to get their garage done. I'll schedule to meet with them, preferably at the job,
Yeah.
um,
I'll see it.
seeing what we're doing, if it's new construction, if it's something that's being remodeled, rehabbed, or anything like that. We'll go and we'll meet. We'll talk about, what their design is, what they're looking for, because like I said, design, decorative concrete, art, it all kind of sits in the same ecosystem. And my mind has just been, since I've been exposed, my mind has just been pumping new ideas. So
Hmm.
I want to try new things, and I want to do also some other stuff as well. And if the clients are game for that, like, that's even better,
Yeah.
because they're like, wow, I trust you. You pick the colors. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not picking the colors. Like,
Yeah.
I want your help too, but
Hmm.
I'm just here to kind of help paddle. We're all on the boat. I want to help paddle, but
Yeah.
I want to paddle deep and fast.
Hmm.
I want to actually get somewhere.
Yeah.
So I try not to do, and this may be a bad trait of mine, I don't know, but I try not to do anything that's just kind of like rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat is great. It becomes monotonous. And, like I said, I was a mailman before. So like opening the mailbox, throwing the mail in, lifting the lid, driving off. It's no fun, like it's so boring that the government sends people to go watch the mailman. And if he doesn't park correctly, then he gets written up.
Yeah.
So that makes it less boring,
Hmm.
but putting mail in a box is boring.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go and just do flakes all the time.
Yeah.
To me, that would get really boring,
Hmm.
and to be honest with you, the flake combinations have changed a lot. So you're not dealing with just 1/4 inch stuff now. You're dealing with, 1/16 of an inch to 1/32 to 1/8 to 1/4, and they're all mixed. So it gives it a different look whenever you put it on a garage floor.
Hmm.
So I think that there's a lot of cool ways to do it, but I'll meet up with the clients, talk to them about what they want, and we get a game plan going. Preparation is huge in this business. Preparation is like the number one of coating failures. So I'm sure you've probably seen some epoxy that might be peeling. You may have not, but if you've ever seen epoxy peeling, it's 9 times out of 10 either moisture or no preparation.
Man, is that moisture from the concrete below, or what do you mean moisture?
When I say moisture, so concrete's always breathing.
Hmm.
Concrete's very unique, right? So city code, I think everywhere now, states that you have to put a vapor barrier, which is a plastic that goes above the soil before you pour the concrete.
Okay.
So it's a barrier between the earth and the concrete.
Hmm.
And if you're in the county, you don't really have to do that. And you're putting concrete right on top of the earth. Throw in some water, the earth contains water, moisture, right? So in evaporation, it's going to go through the slab and it's going to take a while, right? But it's eventually going to work its way through to the top of the slab.
Yeah.
and it's going to grab all the lime, all the calcium, and make its way through these little cracks all the way to the very top. And then you're going to have this white substance just sitting on the top of your concrete. Well, that goes straight to the earth.
Yeah.
So if you prepare your slab and then you put epoxy down, that little channel is still excreting vapor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but
yeah,
there's a vapor transmission coming through there.
Yeah.
And if you put an epoxy coating on top of it and it doesn't have a moisture rating on it, it's just going to poke through and it's going to fail.
Gotcha.
And then it's going to start to peel. And then you can just run your finger and peel the epoxy. So epoxy is not cheap. I don't know if you've ever looked at the price of epoxy. And there's different tiers, right? So there is a low tier, there's a mid-grade tier, and then there's like a military grade tier. And you're dealing with way different price points and way different vapors. You're dealing with a lot of different things, you know. And it is a petrochemical product. So you're also dealing with the price of fuel, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And the geography, the landscape of what's going on. I mean, it all has an effect. I mean,
yeah,
we've got a job right now. I mean, it's a small job. And I spent like $3,000 on epoxy. It's a small job, but he's getting a high-end finish, you know. Mm-hmm. And it just, I couldn't believe that I was paying that much for the amount of square feet that we were doing.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That stinks. I don't want to make it a political thing, but so prices have gone significantly up since Iran, US.
Yeah, I think they change a lot, you know. Even when the Ukraine deal was going on, I was still learning, you know. I was still learning, and there's companies that were coming into this warehouse and they're sales reps, you know, reps that live in the area. They're coming in and they're talking, and I'm just listening to what's going on. I don't know anything, you know, but I'm just listening, hearing these conversations. I'm like, man, this is way bigger than what I think it is.
Yes.
You know,
so it goes beyond just pouring concrete and putting a layer on top.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like, kind of what I thought it was before I met you. And then I started doing some research. Holy moly. Like you said, there are a lot of different kinds of epoxy, a lot of different ways to do it. Even the flakes, there's different kind of flakes.
Yes.
Colors, you can texture it differently.
You know, we put rice. We put rice in some concrete.
Really?
Yeah. It was a micro topping, and grinded it down and polished it, and it looks crazy. You can put wood, you can put marble, you can put coffee beans. I mean, coffee beans it's not something you would do on a floor, but it's something you would do for like an accent wall, you know, or something like that. But yeah, you're putting aggregate in it, you know, so you could do anything. And
that's pretty cool.
It is. It's really cool.
Whenever you said rice, at first I thought you meant to prevent the moisture. You know, like people say, put your phone in rice. I was like, oh,
take
that's
all
smart.
The moisture out.
Yeah. No, that's cool. It's decorative.
It is.
That's really cool. I didn't think about that. I've seen the flakes, but I haven't really seen the rice or wood. That's a cool idea.
Yes. Right now I'm actually working on having a system to where I can present all of these different surfaces to my clients, you know, because people are all the same. If somebody brought me a color chart, I'd be like, I need to see it. I need to see it in person because it's very difficult to translate, which is also why I do samples. I love doing samples for clients because one, that's customer service, right?
Absolutely.
If I can go and meet with this client and they don't know what they want, and they kind of want to see what I can do. Hey, well, as long as you have an area to spare, we could do whatever you want because I can remove all of it.
Yeah.
You know, we could do whatever you want and just be gracious, you know, and think about the time that we're spending on it. I would hate to do all of that and you'd be like, I'm going to go with somebody else. You know, that would be,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be fun. But
I'm sure that happens sometimes.
oh yeah, I mean, you can't make everybody happy, but at the end of the day, you can give them options.
Mhm.
And if you're more well suited, I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
like that. You said process, which does not entail he's cookie cuttering every single person, but having a process is important.
very,
It it helps kind of I'm in a similar boat. It helps kind of get the message to customers that you can repeat this.
mm-hmm,
What you've done in the past, you can do again. There's a
mm-hmm,
process. They like seeing the process, and it's a little more professional than saying, "Oh, I'm gonna wing it every time."
right.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you're, like I said, everybody's different and everything's custom, but a process is good
Yes.
and it
You
keeps
have to
things
follow
clean.
those processes because if you
Yes.
don't, there's something that, you know, and I'm guilty of it, right? Like I've had some clients say, "Oh, I only want to use this." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll use that." But I don't have any experience with that.
Hmm.
And it ends up not turning out great, you know?
Yeah.
And I have my processes of what I know works, you know? And process of elimination. You start it and you just check things off.
Hmm.
As long as you check things off that list and everything's been checked off of that list, you're going to have a guaranteed outcome
Yes.
every time.
Exactly.
Every time.
And you don't want anything slipping through the cracks. I'm a little
Yes.
guilty of that. I think I can
SOPs.
memorize it all in my head.
Yeah.
If I don't have something written down, I'll usually forget it in about an hour.
Yeah.
And then it'll hit me a couple hours later. I'm like, oh, dang it.
I have a big dry erase board
Mhm.
in my work trailer. So whenever we have jobs, I'll sit with the guys and I'll say, look, you know, if it's a small job, I don't need a bunch of men. But if it's a big job, we got to have a team. So we'll sit and go over everything. Any questions that anybody has, when we're having that whiteboard discussion, that's the time to ask those questions
Yeah.
because there's no such thing as a dumb question, you know, especially once we start really working.
Hmm.
You can't take breaks. Like if you're going to smoke a cigarette or if you need to go to the bathroom or call your girlfriend or do whatever you need to do, go do that because as soon as we start, we can't stop until at least that phase is done, you know, because
Yeah.
we're working with hardeners and catalysts or sometimes even cement, you know,
Hmm.
like you once it's going and you just got to work.
Man, I never really thought about it like that. The way you've been phrasing it, like you've got to get it done. Once it's laid, you go,
Yes.
and there's not time to second guess or go
No.
back and for someone to walk out and say, "Hey, actually, can you change this right now?"
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm sure you probably deal with a little bit,
Yes.
unless you disclose it before really well.
Right.
But I'm sure a lot of people misconceive the job and think it's easy.
Definitely. No, once you mix a part A and a part B together, like that's going to cook
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to get hard. So you need to mix it and then get it out. And then you can work it as it's out, but you still don't have enough time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very blessed to work with the people that I work with because they get it and they know and it just works, you know? I
Yeah.
think it's like synergy. Sometimes we're not even talking. We're just going. And I think that's the coolest thing ever because by the end, we're all done. Everybody's done their part. Everybody's tired and everybody just is like, we did it.
Yeah.
Like,
You can read each other's body language.
yes. Like we can finally relax because
Mm-hmm.
we all had a part in making that happen.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most gratifying thing is the transformation of something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool to be a part of those. Like the tack arrow hanger in Fredericksburg was a massive job. And I actually had some personal things that had happened. And it was very difficult to one manage. I think it was the biggest job that I had ever recorded at that time. And to have one side of life be at its most ultimate peak, and then on the other side of life, it was like, I need some help, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to get through it. But man, just the gap between the two was just tremendous.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I was going to lose my dad. I thought I was going to lose him. And I thought, man, like, this guy taught me everything. Here I am succeeding,
Mm-hmm.
and he's sick, you know?
Yeah.
And thankfully he was okay. Everything worked out. But having to leave those guys at the job and me take off was, one, a huge deal of trust. And it wasn't like I was worried about it because I had bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they reassured me, like, listen, dude, we got this. And they repeated everything. They assured me that everything
Mm-hmm.
was going to be okay. And I think that's a good thing to have
Oh, yeah.
from a team aspect, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that was really where things started to shift for me, I think, thinking more of just a lot, you know? When I say shift, I'm talking like all gears shifted, because it's not just one gear. We've
Mm-hmm.
got multiple, right?
Yeah.
And any hustler that's on your podcast, if you ask them what their goal is, like, it changes all the time, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it's ever changing. So
yeah. There's not one thing in mind. Usually it's a lot of things.
Yes. That was when all the switches started to just flip and go crazy, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yes.
That's cool. You were able to leave them and kind of delegate and trust that they'd get it done.
Trust.
And
That's what it
kind
was.
of a reflection on you as well. Put investment into them. Y'all care about each other. It goes both ways.
Yes.
And they took pride in the work because they're proud to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
It is.
So
it's
you're
really
kind of
big.
shifting into that mentor spot now.
Oof. I'm learning. I tell them every day, I'm still learning. So you tell me if I'm slacking or if I say something to you, and, you know, my guys are all pretty good. I think, like, if I say something, they'll come back at me and be like, hey, like, stop me right there. And I'm like, all right, chill.
Yeah.
We're good.
That's cool. Y'all have that respect in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it enjoyable, I'm sure.
It does. It does. It does. So, and I think I'll let you go ahead.
I was going to ask, how many guys do you have normally full-time with you?
Oh, man. So when you say full-time, I don't think we have any. I actually have one guy right now. He's like, man, I would like more of a schedule. And I'm like, bro, I can't give it to you, you know, because we are diversifying ourselves, but those projects that we're doing in-house that we can come in and do all the time, we have to put those on pause too whenever we've got other jobs that we have to be out in the field with, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of those jobs sometimes have a lot of restraints. So there's a job we're doing in Austin, and Austin is unique. It's weird. Austin is weird, but there's no place to park our vehicles. There's no place to put our equipment because you're on a city block. Yep. It's a skyscraper. You know what I mean? Like, you have to figure out how you're going to work that. And there's a lot of
planning,
a whole lot of planning to that,
yes.
You know,
adds a couple layers.
Yeah. And things change. Things change sometimes, and you have to be willing to adapt. So for the guys that I have full time, I keep them on for projects, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're my family. We're all family business. But I have like 4 guys that work more than the other 2. So we've got 6 total, but 4 guys work more than the other 2. And when we're doing big pours, you know, not pouring slabs, but doing big pours for decorative concrete, I'll just have them come in and We have our whole system. Like we have our mixing guy. All he does is make sure that ratios are on point. Because if our mixes are gone, and he likes doing it, you know? So if that's your knack, go for it, you know, because I've been the guy that has to do it all. And they will be too. If it's a small job, you know, you don't need all those people. You can do a job by yourself. Like, I've done plenty of garage floors by myself. And I think that's what kind of honed my system, you know, like you were talking, processes. So I know kind of how to be efficient and what's not efficient. You know, keeping a nice work site that's really efficient.
Oh yeah.
You know, keeping your trash in order, and there's going to be waste for every phase of the project. There's going to be waste, so you have to maintain that waste in a way that is efficient for the end. Like you have to think about the end and the beginning, and go all the way through. So I think doing things alone, you kind of figure out what's a wasted movement, you know?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
In martial arts, there's no wasted movement. Every little squirm or every little angle that you take, there's a purpose for that, because you're either setting up or you're doing something that's going to force your opponent to react a certain way. So do everything with purpose, I think, especially when you have epoxy mixed.
Yeah.
It's going to get hard. You know?
Yes.
I can't tell you the amount of times I've mixed epoxy up, and like it only happened one time because it was a big batch, but I mixed it up and it just got extremely hot and hard, like instantly. And it was on that polish job. That very first one. I was like, never again. So as soon as you mix it up, you got to get it out, you know, and then be able to work it, do whatever you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. That, okay. Makes a little more sense again on the processes and how you've got to have them in place.
You have to.
Yeah. Because I feel like if I were doing something like that, I'd probably get bogged down or distracted. Like maybe do a pour or a mix and then get caught up doing this. Something I forgot to do earlier. And then it's getting hard over there.
Oh yeah. It is tough. Anybody that's worked with epoxy, I swear they have had that happen to them. And it only happens once, you know, it only happens once. And then you're like, wow, I can never let that happen again.
Yeah. That's cool. Your first job was a big learning experience in multiple ways.
Yes. Huge. I mean, I felt like I was on top of the world. You know, you close that first deal of business.
Oh yeah.
Like, wow. I did that.
I'm gonna make it.
I'm going to make it. And then you realize, oh, wow, I didn't make any profit on that. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. What did we do wrong? So
all goes back to the skills you're picking up, the lessons you're learning.
Yes. 1000%.
It's not paying cash, but it's paying cash later on, hopefully.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I forgot to get into this. What kind of martial arts were you into? Just a full range mixed martial arts, or did you start with one specific?
So I started with, when I was younger, on G Street, there was this 2-Kong deal, you know, and I did that as a young kid, and my mom kind of was like, we need to let this kid get his energy out. And I did it for a little while. Once we started throwing ninja stars, I was like, I've never even seen a ninja star. Like, I'll never carry this. Yeah. And transitioned into jujitsu after that. And then I got into wrestling, and then I got into boxing, and I kind of meshed all of those together, and that was fun. I mean, wrestling, I think, is major. Jujitsu is major. And striking is major. I'm a huge advocate for martial arts, not just from the self-defense perspective, but also from the self-confidence perspective and the discipline perspective.
I feel like those second two are what you hear more so than the self-defense or being super strong or whatever. It's always the discipline and the self-confidence. You listen to fighters talk on podcasts or wherever, they will mention those two, and how them getting into whatever they got into grew their discipline exponentially.
Yes.
And it carries over into everything you do, from what I hear. So,
Yes. I mean, there's always somebody better,
oh, yeah.
right? There's always somebody faster,
Mhm.
especially in fighting. I mean, it's a young man's sport, especially if you're competing
Mhm.
and you want to compete at that level. There's just people that are doing more than you, and you have to be okay with that. And you have to, in the training room, you have to be willing to do more than what you did yesterday,
Mhm.
right? Because you never really know what the other people's training regimen is like, but you know what yours is. And you know if you slept in and missed class, and you know if you went out and had drinks when you could have been in the gym training.
Mhm.
And that's going to show whenever you go and compete.
Yes. All those little decisions the wrong way
Yes.
compound
Hmm.
quickly. And same with the ones in the right way. Compound upward.
It is true.
That's another thing, is doing the little things right. And that ties into discipline, but
Yes.
that's something I've heard a lot, I guess, from fighters. I like listening to UFC fighters talk
Hmm.
because they're a lot smarter than you would think. A lot of them are really well read.
For the time being, until they get older.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately,
I mean, you
yes,
can get
but
hit in the head so many times, but it takes a certain mentality, I think, to
Mhm.
know that you're training for something and you're going to go test your skills
Yeah,
against somebody else,
yeah,
and they're going to test their skills against yours. I mean, it's the purest form of art, in my opinion. I
yeah.
think, and I might be a little biased, but
Mhm.
I think it is. I think it is the biggest form of self-expression as well,
Yeah,
because it's a unique exchange when you're fighting with somebody,
yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah. I have a buddy who does, or I don't think he does it actively right now. He grew up doing it and did a little when he was in his young 20s. He did Brazilian jiu-jitsu,
Mhm.
and I he made a little pick on me joke at one point, and we were on the beach, so I like tackled him to the ground. He was messing with me for a bit, and then he turned it on real quick, and he was on top of me and had me in an arm bar. I was like, "What just happened?" Like I can't even comprehend how you move that quick.
Mhm.
And he's a bigger guy. He's strong. He's buff, but he moved like he was a freaking 135-pound lean monster, and it blew my mind. It's like, wow,
It's
like you
funny that
said,
you
no
say that.
wasted movement.
No wasted.
There were no wasted movements. I wasted movements. He didn't.
Yes. So you remember me telling you, like, for a year, all I did was just train. So I
Mm-hmm.
also worked for a gym during that time,
Oh yeah.
and I would sell memberships to this gym. And I would go around, like, I would just take off walking. I'd leave the gym because I didn't have enough money for fuel. Like, I didn't want to spend the money that I did have on gasoline. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm just gonna go walk. So I would just take off, and I would go sell memberships to parents that wanted to put their children in, to just people that looked like they needed some fighting in their life. I don't know. I would just go and talk to people. And I think that was an interesting way to engage with people, right? Because I had nothing to lose. It's like, hey, come train with us. Like, I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to charge you anything, but you might like it. But the bodybuilders, those guys, I would go and sit outside of this Planet Fitness. And there was some big dudes coming in and out. And I'm not a very large guy.
Mm-hmm.
And here, picture this, right? A big buff guy walking into the gym with his bag, and some small guy with a tank top on and flip flops is like, hey, man, come to this gym and come fight. Like, he's like, I don't want to fight. Like, I'm going in here. Well, this one guy came, and he's like, I want to fight you. And I was like, all right, like, we can train. So that's what we did. We trained. And man, he was so humble because he's like, dude, you had me like so twisted up, and he still trains to this day, and he is like slim and just like he's a unit now,
Yeah.
because he was already big.
Yeah, but
He
more
just
buff.
didn't know the movements of fighting.
Yeah.
So now he's harnessed those movements and he's competed, and he is an absolute machine.
That's cool.
I mean, he is a big guy, and he knows he has the knowledge base.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is he thanked me for that. Like, thank you for engaging with me. One,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I've always wanted to do this. I've always seen the gym here. I just never showed up.
Yeah. Needed something to
He
open
needed,
the door for him.
yeah.
Yeah. Get him in
And
there.
I thought that was really cool for him to say that, and some guys would come in and they would never come back,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's okay because it just wasn't their time, I guess,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I think it opened up their mind to see something different.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For people that have misconceptions about, say, martial arts or fighting or whatever, you should definitely look into it because it might surprise you and you might love it. You might hate the idea of it now, but you might love it once you get into there and actually see the people that are in those kind of gyms that do the training and their mentalities. It's not a meat fest in there. People banging their heads on walls. I'm sure a little bit, but
some gyms, but it doesn't last long, Like if people are like that, you will be humbled very quickly.
mm-hmm.
And I've been blessed now with the opportunity of being a business owner, and having that background. I can travel anywhere in the world, walk into a jiu-jitsu gym and make instant friends. Just like that,
That's cool.
It is super cool. And the people that you meet, they're also entrepreneurs,
mm-hmm.
lawyers. I've met some amazing people. I've trained with a lot of like legends,
Yeah.
legends that I can't even believe I'm training with them. And it's like, wow, this is crazy,
Yeah. That's awesome.
It is.
Man. Well, we could talk about fighting probably for a whole nother hour.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we're already 55 minutes in. That's my bad. I got a little carried away, but I'm going to get us back on track real quick. We'll wrap this up.
Okay.
So let's get back to PLC. What's the range of services y'all offer and what's the area range?
Range of services. If it has a surface on it, we can refinish it.
Mm-hmm.
We try not to do too much wood surfaces, but more micro cement surfaces, any surface with aggregate in it, any type of flooring, any type of wall, ceiling, anything with a surface that you want to have an artistic touch to or decorative touch to.
Yeah.
That's what we work with. And that's what we like working with, and the protective aspect as well, right? So let's just say you have pieces of steel that you want epoxy coated. We can epoxy coat your steel, that helps with corrosion, helps with a lot of things. So if it has a surface or you want to prevent corrosion and things like that, you want a decorative surface, PLC has a system for that.
Awesome. Well, good. I did not know y'all do any kind of surface. I thought it was strictly concrete or epoxy. I didn't know y'all do walls, ceilings, metal.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Any type of surface that has a texture to it. That's what we work with.
Love it. All right. And how can people contact you if they want to get in touch for a quote or some ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. Phone number, my direct line is always open. 830-928-1945. How you reached me. You can text me, you can call me. Email, if you want to send an email to Bryan@privatelabelcoating.com, you can do that. You can also check our website out, privatelabelcoating.com. And then there's a chat with us tab. You can chat with us on there. Yeah. Instagram, Facebook.
Sweet. Got it all.
Those. Yes.
Yeah. So check out their social media. If you're too introverted to give them a call today, check out the website. They have some cool stuff they've done on there too. And you can kind of see some of the work, see the craftsmen that they are, because this isn't just a cookie cutter kind of industry. It does have some skill and a learning curve. So if you're going to get someone like Bryan, someone who's going to do it right.
No, thank you, Zach.
Of course. I mean, I feel confident referring you to anybody. So
that's great.
He does good work. He cares about the work he does. And it sounds like not just you, but everyone around you takes pride in it.
Yes.
That's huge.
And without them, I wouldn't be anything, Definitely takes a team, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah,
This is a long time waiting, but I'm glad we got it done. This is
thank you
very enjoyable.
for the patience.
Of course.
I appreciate that.
You're busy, and most entrepreneurs are. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be running a business.
Yeah, if you're at home, things aren't going too well.
Yep. So, well, man, I appreciate it. And
Yes,
I
sir.
hope we can talk again soon.
Absolutely, we can. Thank you.